الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الرجل على دين خليله فلينظر أحدكم من يخالل أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام وبعد. We start in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're grateful to Allah. We are thankful to Allah. Every single time we come back to His house, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We come to His house not as a burden, but we come to His house as a means of our salvation. When we come to His house, it saves us. When it comes to His house, it protects us. When we come to His house, we eradicate, we remove the sins we did before we came to His house. And we prevent from the sins that we would have done after leaving His house. When we come to the house of Allah, there's so much barakah in us just attending the majlis of something like this. Though it's an obligation, but beyond that, there's so much barakah in this. Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Hujurat that the believers are but brothers. The believers are but brothers. When we grow up in society, you'll hear a child say, that's my classmate. When he's in school, he'll say, that's my classmate, that's my friend, that's my close friend, that's my best friend. That's how you grow up. And that's my cousin, that's my favorite uncle, that's my favorite aunt. And that's how we kind of grow up saying these things. Allah actually gives you a title, Allah actually gives you a label to call every other believer, which is akhi. That's your brother. That's my brother. That's what you're supposed to call one another. See, when you call someone your brother, you're going beyond friendship. You're taking that relationship to the next level. See, when you look at friends, everyone looks at friends and they look at their own brothers differently. The deen, al-Islam, is telling us no, for as long as someone is saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, that brother is your brother. And that sister is your sister, for the sisters in the room. The problem is we treat people differently because of the relationship that we give them. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, with everybody you have the same relationship. And that relationship, that one relationship is brotherhood. That one relationship is he is your brother. Whether he is from the same village as you are from, or he's from an opposing village, or a different country. Because some people might say, okay, yeah, brothers, Bangladeshi brothers. No, not just Bangladeshi brothers. Arab brothers, black brothers, white brothers, every kind of brother that exists. They are all our brothers. It's not just based upon where you are from. So Islam is inclusive in that sense. Brothers and sisters, the Rasul is saying that a man is upon the religion of his friend, his close friend. So all of us should look towards the person that we befriend, the person we allow to enter into our circle, the people we allow entering into our intimate environment. And in the same surah, Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us commands. Allah gives us commands. Usually commands can be of one of two types. Allah is telling you, do something, or Allah is telling you, don't do something. Very simple. Do something, or don't do something. And in this surah, Allah is telling us a lot of the things we should not do. A lot of the things we should not do. So Allah tells us in the same surah that don't give your friends, or as in don't give your brothers and sisters nicknames that come up, that deal with mockery. You know, you give someone a nickname that deals with insulting them. So someone is overweight, you give them a nickname that is attached to their weight. And then you say, that's my friend. That's my brother. But every time you call him that nickname, it hurts him. It offends him. Allah's giving this instruction, by the way, not just for men, He's giving this instruction to women as well. How women talk to one another, how women treat one another, how women are within circles of other women, what they're saying. So Allah is essentially saying, don't give each other nicknames that are going to be bad nicknames. Look, Abu Bakr had a nickname, As-Siddiq, the truthful one. That's a beautiful nickname. That's different, right? Umar Khattab, Al-Furqan, this is different. Their nicknames are different than what we are thinking about when we say nicknames. Our nicknames are insulting. When we call someone a nickname in today's time, it's insulting towards them. And the Rasulullah ﷺ was not living in our time. He was living a long time ago. But Quran is for our time as well. So look, the nicknames are still existing to this day. People call people nicknames that are so horrible to hear. You call people nicknames based on the color of their skin. This is ignorant behavior. This is behavior of non-Muslims. This is behavior of people who don't have intelligence. They're not smart. Because they're not smart, they make simple jokes. When you're not smart, you make simple jokes. Something you see with your eyes. Oh, I see with my eyes, this person is overweight. It's a simple joke. I'll make fun of his weight. That's how much you don't have intelligence. You just look at something and you speak to it. You see something, you speak to it. But this person is dark skinned. When referring to people, subhanallah al-azim, when referring to people, hey, do you know Muhammad? Which Muhammad? The fat one? Which Muhammad? The black one? Which Muhammad? The dark one? No, the short one? Ajib. This is how we refer to people. This is exactly how we refer to people. Brother, he has a last name. Go learn his last name. He has a profession. Go learn what he does for a job. Oh, Muhammad, he is an engineer working for Ford. That one you're talking about? Oh, okay. Why are you referring him to a nickname that has nothing but insult attached to it? That's how people are talking. Oh, that sister, she's a little bit chubby, that one? Yeah. A little bit chubby. Why are you saying words like that? This is you giving nicknames to people that is insulting. Oh no, everybody knows her like that. Who cares what everybody else knows? Why do you know her like that? Why do you talk to her like that? What gave you the right to decide who gets what nickname? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, don't give these bad nicknames. End of discussion. It doesn't matter if you think it's funny, if you think it's hilarious, if you think it makes sense, or if it's relevant. This is a command from Allah in the Quran. This is nas, straight, clear text. There's no like, oh, this scholar said, no, brother, everybody said this. This is not allowed, prohibited. This is like drinking alcohol, not allowed, clear cut. You understand? This is one of the instructions of this surah. See, we think Quran is all about praying and fasting and zakat. It is, aqimu salah, right? And Allah tells us to establish our prayer, to give zakat. But the Quran actually does not even tell you how to pray. The Quran does not tell you how to pray. The Sunnah and the Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ tells us how to pray. Raise your hand, fold your hand, etc., etc. This is not in the Quran. Doesn't say raise your hand and say takbir, then hold your hand together, then say Allahu Akbar. This is not in the Quran. The Quran says what? Establish salah. Some of us think the Quran is all about those rules with ritual worship. No, the Quran is more than just that. More than just that. The Quran teaches you how to behave with each other. The Quran tells you how to interact in society. The Quran is for every single individual. Someone who doesn't have money, someone who is born into money, someone who is light-skinned, someone who is dark-skinned, someone who is underweight, someone who is overweight, someone from the US, someone from any other country. The Quran is for every single individual. And the ahkam of Quran applies to every single person. Someone who is 13 and just hit puberty, and someone who is 70 and lived most of his life. The Quran is for everybody, inclusive. And this Quran is telling you certain instructions, so I must pay attention to these instructions. We can't allow our friend circles to keep letting these name calling continue. You're the one who has to step up. You have to be a woman, you have to be a man. And can we just call her something different? Let's refer to him with something else. You have to step up and make that change. These are simple things that you can actually implement if you think about it. It's not under your control. They're within circles of people that you know. Allah also tells us in the surah, don't spy. Don't spy on your brothers and sisters. What does spying mean? I'll tell you what spying means in today's time, okay? Spying in today's time is not going into someone's house, looking through the window to see who's inside. That's not what spying, though that still counts, that's not what we're doing in today's time. Spying in today's time is that you have a brother sitting next to you, a brother sitting next to another brother. And the brother next to you takes out his phone, and you cannot help but look over. What's he doing? Which app is he on? What's he liking? What's he scrolling on? What's he watching? Hey, that's not your phone. Don't look. Don't look. This is how fitna starts. Don't look. Even if he is committing a sin, don't look right now. Don't be that person who now you're going to end up getting caught up in that. Don't look. Don't spy on your brother next to you. There's no need for that. Unless he specifically says, hey, look at this. He shows you his phone. We shouldn't need a privacy screen in our times. And at the same time, we shouldn't be looking over at other people's screens in our times. There's balance to it. Spying, what that means is that maybe a sister wants to see what other sister's up to. So she goes on her social media, goes through all her posts, looks at her history, basically online stalking. That's spying. Someone can argue. They put it on the internet. They put it on the internet. That's their fault. They have it on the internet. Yes, they did put it on the internet. But they put that on the internet 1 year ago. You were the one scrolling back 1 year to find that. That's called spying. Just like when you go outside and non-Muslim women, they're walking around without clothes. Yes, they are walking around without clothes. But as men, we are supposed to look down. So you cannot just say, oh, they just took off their clothes. No. You have to do your best to look down. So yes, someone has everything on the internet, but who told you to go on their profile and start scrolling down? That's your action. That's spying. Trying to find something. Trying to look deeper into something. Investigating. SubhanAllah, for what? Why are you going so deep into someone else's life? What's insane is that in today's time, what's hilarious is that everyone in society is about individualism. I want to be to myself. I don't want to be with my family. I don't want to be dealing with my parents. I don't want to be dealing with my siblings. I only want to deal with myself. I want to deal with who I am and my career and maybe my spouse and then maybe my children. But me, I come first. Even before my spouse, I am first. Before my children, I am first. Before my parents, I am first. I am one in everything. Individualism, me, myself, and I. So what do? You cut off everybody from your life. And then you put your whole life on the internet. Well, what happened to your privacy? You are the one who is destroying yourself. You are the one who is destroying yourself. So on both sides, this is an effect. But we should not be spying on our brothers and sisters. We should not be spying on our brothers and sisters. So stop looking at other people's phones. Stop looking at their profiles. If something comes up, that's different. But you going out of your way to look into someone else's life, this is called spying in today's time. Because it's so easy now. It's so easy to Google now. Protect yourself from this. Another instruction Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the same surah is to avoid suspicion. Avoid suspicion. So this is something that we always have a hard time with. That whenever someone does something, we assume the worst. We assume the worst. So we assume, okay, this guy is definitely, he definitely did this because of X, Y, Z. This is his habit, he's definitely the one who's in the wrong. These people made a mistake, it was definitely this person's fault. I'll give you an example. Oh, I know how this family is. If they had a divorce in their family, most likely it was the wife's fault. 100% it was the wife's fault. Who told you it's the wife's fault? Where did you get that from? How do you know that? No, trust me, I know. Don't assume. Well, he's my friend. So what? How do you know whose fault it is? How do you know what happened? Why are you assuming negative over other people's lives? You have no idea what actually happened. But people start speaking and they assume, they assume, they assume, they assume. We have to stay away from this. Don't assume until you know. And don't spy just to know. If something comes your way, okay, fine, let you deal with it. But don't go out of your way to affirm your suspicions. Oh well, I know it definitely has to be her fault. Let me prove it to you. You start spying. Subhanallah, what are you doing? This is called having no life. This is literally the definition of having no life. Having no life, you know, people say this guy has no life, is that same person who gives people bad nicknames. Is that same person who spies on people. It's that same person who assumes the worst of people. This is a guy who has no life. Because his entire life is focused about bringing other people down. His entire focus is bringing other people down. So he can feel better about himself. So he'll give you a bad nickname, so he feels better. He has a good name. He spies on you to expose you, so he doesn't think about his mistakes. Huh? Sometimes we are those people. We have to stop doing that. We have to be mindful of these situations. And the last one that I want to mention from this surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifies for us to act upon, or it is to avoid and stay away from backbiting, from speaking ill of other people. You know, we're speaking in a way that that person would not want to be spoken about. Don't speak about people in a way they would not like you to speak about. Speak about something else. If someone says to you that, well, we run out of things to talk about, we're hanging out for 2-3 hours, the sisters finally got together after 2 months and we got to a house, we're finally having our sisters only gathering dawah. We have been here for 2 hours, we ran out of things to talk about, so we accidentally spoke about Fatima. Okay. Brothers, we see each other every week, so we run out of things to talk about. So we talked about Abdullah. The reality is, if someone really tried and even cared one bit, they could talk about the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all day long. Allah. If someone tried, and I'm not saying you have to be knowledgeable. The greatness of Allah is like this. Let me explain to you how simple it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us these eyes to look at, subhanAllah. Look at how great Allah is. Allah let me breathe today. You know, I made so many mistakes yesterday. Allah is still letting me breathe today. He's letting me live today. This is the greatness of Allah. Today I got to pray in the masjid. This is the greatness of Allah. Allah let me pray in the masjid. The greatness of Allah doesn't require you to become some super knowledgeable alim. The greatness of Allah is so simple for everyone to understand. Every general person can speak about how amazing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Isn't it beautiful Allah is one? Isn't it beautiful that Allah took care of us? Isn't it beautiful Allah sustained us? Just talk about Allah, no problem. The problem is you're not used to talking about it. So it's not that you ran out of topics to talk about, it's that you choose topics to talk about. And your topic happens to be other people. Brothers and sisters, we have to stop talking about people behind their back. We have to stop talking about people, saying things they don't want to be said about them. And if they're in front of us, we have to stop mocking people. We have to stop slandering people. Just think of you, think of yourself, and talk about just who you are. Talk about who you are, not other people. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. أما بعد. Now these are the things that we're not supposed to be doing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us a number of things that we should not do. We should not give people bad nicknames. We should not spy on people. We should not assume the worst of people. And we should not speak bad of people, meaning backbite people. And when you don't do these things, then you can actually have an environment where you can live with one another in peace and harmony while having your own privacy, but being loving and caring with those around you. Brothers and sisters, to inhibit a type of an environment that's healthy, if you want to have an environment that's healthy for you with brothers amongst brothers and sisters amongst sisters, you need to first make the space a safe space. No one is going to feel comfortable being your brother if all you do is make them insecure. The reality is, yes, there are some people that are not as smart as other people. Some people think faster than other people. Some people think quicker, they speak faster, some people speak slower. Some people act faster, some people act slower. And when we see people acting differently in a group, what happens? You put this guy as number one, and this guy as number two, and this guy as number three, because this guy is better than this. We are all slaves of Allah. What you're comparing are things that people compare in the dunya. That's a different issue. But when it comes to who is actually greater, the Prophet ﷺ told us that you're actually greater based upon your taqwa, and your taqwa is what's internal. How you actually fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what it comes down to. Brothers and sisters, if you want to have an actual healthy environment, there are three things that I request us to do. Three things. One, first check the group of friends you're with. Number one, check the group of friends you're with. Are these people actually bringing you closer to Allah, or are they pulling you away from Allah? If you're with these brothers, do they turn off the music or do they blast the music? If you're with these brothers, do they ask you to pray or do they ask you to go do something else, to go to the hookah lounge? What's happening when you're with these brothers and sisters? Are they skipping salah or are they praying salah? If you're with these sisters and they're at an event, a woman's only event, and you're all dressed up, and everyone has on makeup, but it's Maghrib salah, and nobody wants to take off makeup and put wudu, do wudu. Is this the sister you want to be with? And skip Maghrib because you don't want to mess up your makeup. See the problem? We have to assess our circles. Who is actually in our circles? If our circle is bringing us down, well, I don't recommend cutting people off. What I recommend is lessening how often you see them. So if you see your friends once a week, maybe see them once a month. If you see them once a month, see them once every 2 months. And instead, go meet new people. Someone will ask me, meet them where? Facebook? Instagram? No, meet them here, brother. Here. The masjid. The people with the right mindset are here right now. There are so many Muslims out there not praying Jum'ah. Allah guided you, so you came to pray Jum'ah, and Allah guided everyone else in this room to pray Jum'ah. So you're with a room of people that Allah guided. So make these people your friends. That's what we need to do. People who have the common interest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I need to enter into their circles. That's the first thing. Second thing, be that friend. What that means is, the friend that I'm telling you, the brother that I'm telling you to become for other people, the sister that I'm asking you to be for other sisters, be that sister first. Be that brother first. What that means is, be that brother who stops saying things to bring people down. Be that brother who empowers his friend. Be that sister who is kind and gentle and not the one who is rude and harsh. Be the nice sister. Be the nice brother. First, be that person, and then you will attract people like that. If you're the person who's always harsh, always making fun of people, always bringing people down, you will only attract people like that, and they will bring you down, and you will bring each other down, and nobody will proceed. Nobody will move forward. So you and I have to be that friend first. We have to be that brother first. If we can't become that person, how do we expect to attract people like that? And the third thing that I want to mention is to actually make dua. You know, ad-deen nasiha, this religion is about nasiha, it's about advising one another. And so many people say, oh my gosh, I've told my friend 100 times, he needs to do this, he needs to lose weight, he needs to get a job, she needs to pass her grades, and she's doing so horrible, and they need to leave this haram relationship. And you're saying all these things you told your friend to do. Fantastic. When was the last time your friend's name came into your tongue when you were making dua? You've told your friend 100 times to go do this. And how many times did you mention your name to Allah, that friend's name to Allah? How many times? The prophets used to do this. The prophets would make dua for the people that they wanted guidance for. By name. We know this from authentic narrations. Not just the Prophet Muhammad, all the prophets before him. When they actually wanted to help somebody, they used to raise their hands and make dua with that person's name in their tongue, calling upon Allah to say, Ya Allah, help this person. Guide this person. Give this person hidayah. This is what they did. So you're thinking your tongue is going to cause an impact, meaning you speaking to that person directly? Who makes things happen in this dunya? You or Allah? Allah. So stop thinking it's you. It's not you. It's Allah. So you're continuously advising your friend, telling your friend, fix your life, fix your life, fix your life. Brother, who are you to fix his life? Sister, who are you to fix her life? You cannot. We are human beings. We're creation. Allah is the creator. Allah can fix his life. Allah can fix her life. So call upon Allah. Ask Allah. Allah, help Fatima with her exams. Help Fatima go into a healthy environment. Help Fatima overcome this issue. Guide Abdullah. Make him a better person. Have him leave hookah and smoking and all these things. Make dua for these people. Those are the three things. Check your friends group to see who needs to enter into your life and who you need to give some space to. The second thing is make sure you become that first person first. That you're that brother everybody wants to be a brother with. That when people see you, they're like, you know what, I want this guy to be a part of my life. I would be happy if this brother was a part of my life. I would be happy if this sister was a part of my life. And the third thing is, for everyone who is a part of your life, make dua for them with their name. Make dua for them and ask Allah to guide you, to help you, and to guide them. عباد الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وأقيموا الصلاة.